listen, we start this show with some breaking news. I've been told Josh Allen just got sacked again.
Beep, 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 beep.
And wait a minute. And he just got sacked again. Yeah, okay. I'm getting real-time updates from this.
Yeah.
Oh, my word. Hey, Houston Texans fans, your team, once upon a time, 0-3. Not anymore. They're above 500. The Ravens aren't the only team that has been roosting atop its division that has been coming on strong. Davis Mills, we'll talk about the Texans later on. I'm sorry, Texans fans. But you got to start with the Buffalo Bills team that is on a roller coaster right now, man. You know, one week they beat the Chiefs to go 6-2. Then they go down to Miami and they lay what is known as a big fat egg.
Mm-hmm.
And then they wind up bringing the Bucks a big helping and heaping serving of a 40 burger on a plate. And Josh Allen scores 3 times on the ground, 3 times in the air, and you're wondering why that day? Because I was going against him in fantasy.
Of course.
44-32 final score. Got me this. And then 5 days later, they're now 7-3, feeling good about themselves, and they go into Houston, and it's Sackapalooza. One after the other. I believe this one on the screen, this photograph, Will Anderson Jr.
He good.
Landing on top of Josh Allen because Allen had stepped up in the pocket instead of taking off, try to make a play down the field, gave Anderson just enough time to come up with one of his takedowns of Josh Allen that, believe it or not, was not one of his 2.5 sacks because
2.5?
2.5.
Seemed like he had 13.
It felt like he
2.5 sacks, by the way.
Great follow-up.
Tell Ashton he's now out of that production.
That's not a sack.
That is not, because his momentum pushed him to a 2-yard gain, as a matter of fact.
Okay.
But it was not enough, nearly enough for a first down. And that was the moment where I texted Mike Hoskins, Rich Eisen Show coordinating producer, and the biggest Bills fan I know. Did you stop breathing for a second? He said his entire body went numb because Josh Allen looked like he had broken his hand or something.
Something.
And then all of a sudden he gets up, pops up, goes back to the sidelines. His hands are fine. He's looking at the tablet. And I'm sure he's looking at the tablet going, yep, sacked again.
He might have been like, how they had 13 guys?
And by the way, it started great for the Bills with James Cook popping one on a third and short for the whole distance.
Great opening drive.
And when the Texans put their foot down and started to gain some traction of their own, I guess Ray Davis was watching my conversation with Luke Russert in support of his Hallmark movie about the Buffalo Bills, saying Ray Davis was in it. I'm like, oh, it's just the latest example of Ray Davis in when you expect James Cook to be. But this was on special teams.
Took that personal.
I mean, a spin move on a kick return to give the Bills the lead right back, but then the Texans march down the field, take the lead back again.
Allen threw a pick.
Yeah, he did, because he had to be all over the place with his head and his mind and his eyes and everything, because, good Lord. The Texans tying their single-game franchise record with 8 sacks. Last time they had that was Week 12 last year. Tennessee Titans fans may remind that. They also had 8 sacks in the final game of 2015 as well. The only team with more sacks in a game this season, the Denver Broncos against the Jets. I saw it. I called it. It was in London. Can confirm. And the Buffalo Bills now up and down, up and down. Second full game with 0 offensive touchdowns in 2025. He only had 1 in his MVP season last year, Josh Allen. This is coming off a game in which he personally scored 6 or had a hand in 6. And the Bills fall to now 2-7 in Allen's career when he has 0 offensive touchdowns. Consecutive games with 2 interceptions for the first time in 3 seasons. But the worst thing was, it was right there still.
They ran a hook and ladder.
That was unbelievable.
That was insane.
On 4th and forever. and they convert on a hook and ladder. Khalil Shakir in the fourth quarter was making moves that was ridiculous. And the Bills had a chance to go down and tie the game. And as a matter of fact, maybe they go for two, right? Maybe they go for two or they have a tie. Probably they missed a PAT, right? They missed a PAT in the first. They would have won it. My bad. Yeah, they missed a PAT in their first touchdown. So that was also another mistake that was coming home to roost. They couldn't just kick a field goal, which, by the way, they would have had an opportunity to kick that field goal to tie it off of that hook and ladder rather than a fourth down play that all the folks, at least on my Threads feed, was like, why would Josh Allen not throw it to a wide open tight end and try and force it into, one-on-one coverage? It didn't matter anyway, because the reason why the tight end on that final play and that final interception was so wide open, it was an offensive pass interference call. So it didn't matter.
That game was crazy. The referee got hurt.
The referee,
there was so much happening.
It looks like he blew out his Achilles.
Oh, my God.
So a cart comes out for the ref, but not for Josh Allen, who looked like he was done for the year, and then he pops back up, and the Bills are still in it.
Wild.
Despite being sacked all those many times and 0 offensive touchdowns for Josh Allen. So the fourth down play call, though, where James Cook just ran it right into the middle of this defensive line. And then you look at Josh Allen saying, what the F are we doing? And you could see Sean McDermott barking into his headset at somebody. I think we can find out who the somebody is. This was Josh Allen after the game on that subject matter. And that's what I think will linger in this mini bye week for the Buffalo Bills. Hit it.
Just frustration on my part. In a situation like that, probably should have just banged a timeout. We got to playing late. Didn't give ourselves a chance there.
So you could see Josh Allen in the answer. Why were you saying what the F are we doing? You could see. He's saying frustration on my part. You could see, if I give the answer that he eventually did get around to, that we didn't get the play call in a timely fashion, that winds up on the lap of his offensive coordinator, who I would imagine is the individual on the business end of Sean McDermott's headset screed. Write that one down. Not a bad fantasy name. The avatar is the head coach of the Bills, barking at somebody. And, McDermott is the type of guy who wants to be the coach of the team that's sacking the other quarterback 8 times and hitting him a dozen. That's what he's about. And without Ed Oliver and without, the people that we've been used to seeing there in Buffalo, and then seeing Deion Dawkins go in and out of the game, but also flailing at times, just as one of the 5 offensive linemen on the field to try and protect Josh Allen, who would step up in the pocket, and that's where usually he would take off or make a play, but that was where the second wave of either a rushing Texan or one of the Texans' rushers circling back. All of them are incredible. Hunter and Anderson, just to name 2, obviously. My goodness gracious. They couldn't do a thing. McDermott, after the game, when he was asked if they got out-toughed, out-physicaled.
Well, when they hit their quarterback 12 times, that's I don't like that. I don't like that stat at all. And it's not a healthy way to play or a healthy way to keep our quarterback healthy through the remainder of the season. So that's just not a good formula right there.
Okay, so the Buffalo Bills, who have, as you know, basically taken over the AFC East house and coming into this season and coming back on the Ravens to start the season and beating the Jets to start the season in New York and then beating Miami at home to start the season 3-0. And then go to New Orleans and have New Orleans come in, and it was a little dicey, and be 4-0. That team is now looking up at the New England Patriots, and they're 2.5 games behind them. two in the actual column here, but we all know the Patriots won that Week 5 game to hand the Bills their first loss of the season. And they are, as of that moment, under 500 in the last 2 months of this campaign. So not looking good. Looking like if you look at the AFC East standings where the Bills, or the AFC standings where the Bills are now currently behind the Chargers in the 6th seed right now. It sure looks like the Bills, as the Chargers are off this week, they are now neck and neck. Looks like the Bills are going to be, I just went a little higher register. Looks like the Bills are going to be a wild card team. And
I don't know about that.
Why would you say that? Oh, you mean like falling out of the playoffs entirely? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, there's some teams.
I don't know, man.
There's some teams catching fire behind.
I understand that. It's also a team that we saw what they did against the Bucs and what they did against the Chiefs, and they have a tiebreak against the Chiefs. Every time we always talk about there. Remember I told you that Bills-Chiefs game was different than any of the other ones where everyone's like, well, it's just the regular season. Let's see what happens when they face each other in the postseason. Well, that win might be the difference between the Bills making the postseason and the Chiefs not.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, the two teams that you mentioned, like they could fall out because other teams are coming. They've beaten the Ravens. They've beaten the Chiefs. Not bad. Problem is they now don't have a tiebreak with the Texans, who might not win the division because the Colts are so damn good and in front of them. We'll talk about the AFC South in a minute, which is interestingly enough, the Chiefs could help matters for the Texans by beating the Colts, which would make things a little bit crazier in the AFC going into the Thanksgiving week. But it looks like right now the Bills are going to be a wild card team unless the wheels fall off the Patriots wagon. The Bills, coming off of their mini bye, have the Steelers next. They're in Pittsburgh before they face, it's going to be Joe Burrow, because I think Burrow's coming back to take on the Patriots, who the Bills would visit after that game. And then at Cleveland and home for the Jets, winnable games, obviously, with the Eagles coming in. And that may be must-have for both teams. Bills to either still have a shot at the division or stay in front of teams that are right there with them for a wild card spot, and the Eagles might need it for a 1 seed, depending on what happens between now and then. But this is the way things are with 6 games left on the Buffalo Bills schedule after they started 4-0. And then they go 3-4. And here's the final 6. And they got to protect Josh Allen. This just in. My goodness gracious. I mean, the most important piece of china in their cupboard. And there were pieces all over the floor last night. And at one point, I thought Josh Allen was done for the night. So did Amazon Prime, my man T-Man, the producer of Thursday Night Football. And that crew got a shot of Mitchell Trubisky with his helmet on real fast. And I think that may be exactly the moment when Mike Hoskins went numb. Because he didn't look like Osweiler. Let me get that helmet out there.
No, he was like, I have to go in this game
against those guys who are sacking everybody?
Like 51.
Wait a minute.
What?
I was told there would be no math on this test.
Danielle Hunter?
What? Okay. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.